that was from him. He did not go into specifics on that. The ones he told us to target coming right around the bend, most important was the AFG, you know, for the fire departments.
So when the other information comes out, you put it out in the newsletter or something for the people?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
It'll be available in you know, all different kinds of the newsletter. It'll be available here at town. Yeah, everybody will certainly know, and we'll get that out to everybody way ahead of time, so that if this is something that somebody feels they can take advantage of, you know, they'll have plenty of time to do so.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the park. I'm assuming that's the park that you're thinking about using the grant money for, in Verysburg.
No.
Okay, you're talking the park here.
Wyoming County Park is Wyamoka Park. They're acquiring that in Verysburg.
Okay. You alluded to it a couple times in your last statement, grant money for the park.
Correct.
Is for that?
No. For our park.
Or for our park here?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Right.
trying to achieve funds for our park.
Okay. But back to the county park.
Hold on, if we're gonna achieve grants for our park, that would be, again, what we're trying to do is keep things to a minimum as far as, it gets a lot more complicated when you're digging into the soil and different things like that, environmental things come into play, so and like I've said from the beginning, is we're trying to tailor make and gear it towards a canine inclusive, sort of engaging and invigorating area of the park set aside where residents and their dogs can go and enjoy that part of the park without too much intrusion or construction or things of that nature. I think that gives us a better avenue and a higher likelihood to succeed.
Okay, thank you. But back to the county park.
Mm-hmm.
So did they do an analysis of what the cost would be to run it, or you haven't seen that yet? Because
Doing it
my
right
assumption,
now.
my assumption is that's going to take new money, or they have to shift money, and some version of some of the taxes will end up going up.
That's our responsibility. That's exactly what was brought up at the Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday. So it was brought up that we would need a business plan, so the county administrator is doing that as we speak. He's putting that together, but this is just my opinion. You want my opinion? It is going to be what it is. You're not gonna give you a 10, 15, 20-year guarantee of any sort of, you know, cost structure. It's our job to then control those costs. Everything that goes through that park will be voted on by me and the 15 other supervisors over there. So it's our job, if something comes across our desk that looks like it's going to raise taxes, to keep it under control or not. And if they don't, that will be the, you know, where the blame lies, or you know, gratitude. There's 101 votes in that room carries. So
I'm not disputing the process of how to get there. I'm just making sure that it's just interesting. We're ready to spend millions of dollars, but there's no plan to control the cost until after we have to spend money.
So they're spending grant money.
I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the business.
Well, hold on, go back. What are the millions of dollars that we're spending?
New York State's money, grant money that we're getting to buy it,
Okay,
right?
Yep.
And then we need to maintain it, but you're saying they're still trying to figure out a plan to maintain it, and we don't have that yet. And I sort of get that, but I don't, because, I mean, there's one new money, right, to maintain something, which would be increased taxes, but then, as you're saying, let's collectively make choices that we're not increasing taxes, we're harvesting timber or doing something to manage the park on its own. I guess at this point, if they thought it was that close, because I know that this has been up for bid for a while now, this isn't something new, right? I mean, this property's been kind of on the market for years now, right? That they would have a plan that would be a little better in place than, it's just not really a lot of substance coming from the plan, I guess, from what you're saying.
so as far as, again, the county administrator's position is just what I just, you know, reiterated. That's his position. It's presented to him on Tuesday. And he said, I'll you know, we will do that. We will present, you know, a business plan. But in the end, cost responsibility is gonna fall on that board. And you know, regardless of that, again, the decision needs to be made now. They're not waiting. They're not gonna wait. If we don't acquire that park, it's gonna be broken up and sold to private.
But that's been out there for years.
Well, I'm just telling you,
I mean.
if we don't buy it now, you're not getting it. So that's the boat
I
that
think
we're
it's a
in,
great
and it's
I think it's a great
unfortunate.
idea. I think it's a really
You
good
know?
idea. I'm looking at it logically from a cost point, and then how it's gonna flow back to not just Bennington, Colesville, but the Wyoming County, right?
Right, and that's the job, right, correct, that's the job.
Do we have any idea what kind of staff they would need, like how many, or?
All depends what you wanna do, it all depends what you wanna do, that's the whole thing. If you acquire the place and you say you're gonna lay down cross-country ski track, you know, and there's, everything fits into this model, it's not like they're just winging it and they're like, we're gonna do, you know, so there's an option to charge a small monetary fee to enter the park, that's an option to offset costs. There's also volunteers, many clubs, many, you know, different, you know, many different volunteer groups or clubs sponsor in other counties, they take care of trails, so if you have a hiking trail, or they have Boy Scouts building the benches, along the way on these trails. So there's tons of options to maintain, to control, and to mitigate those costs. You know, but again, in the end, it's not wrong,
Why does the county need it then?
they don't need it.
Why don't we just sell it to private and then it will get taxed?
Well, right, so.
We have the best park in the part of Wyoming County, Letchworth. We
Right,
have cross-country trails at Burncliffe and other places.
Right.
Why are we
so
getting
they
that?
want a county park. They want a county park, and the opportunity to get a county park, to acquire a county park, the last time they had that opportunity, none of them could even come up with an answer, and they don't know when that opportunity would come in the future.
So there's a county park in Genesee County.
Mhm.
You would think that they would kind of look at them and
Right.
see what their annual costs are.
Right. And I
You know,
mean,
because they have
again,
trails, they have
I can't
snowmobiles.
Right.
see if they make money or lose money.
Right.
to maintain, and, you know, it's also easy to say those things now, and 10 years from now, right, all these conversations are gonna be different, you know, because those costs can go up. And then they're not exempt from opening a can of worms in the past, it certainly happened, that was brought up. There's been a lot of things that rolled through the county in the past that were promised to keep costs down, and I will tell you, there is no appetite in that room for cavalierly raising taxes. There is nobody in that room who is not mindful that, you know, this could be something that, you know, we don't want costs spiraling out of control. There is not one person out of those 16 who is just, you know, sort of brushing that aside. It's obviously the number one priority. First, we gotta get the grant. You know, anyways. Yes, sir.
Mark, when you say they want a park, who's they?
The county. County.
The 16 towns in the county?
16 who?
Towns?
Towns, yes, sir. So the
16 towns
16,
in the county want a park.
well, the 16 supervisors that represent those towns on the board of supervisors, we will see.
I mean, shouldn't it go to the people of the county?
It is. That's who you put in the place over there. That's why I sit there, and that's why the supervisors
And
of
you're
the
in
other
favor, you're in
towns,
favor of it?
I am.
Okay.
So, as far as, you know, the other towns, they represent the people, you know, their supervisors represent the people of their town. So everybody is represented there by their supervisor, and the county administration wants it as well. You know, the county administrator, this is the plan
And
that
the
they.
16 supervisors are on board.
No, I don't know that yet, we haven't voted on it. So when we acquire, if we get the grant money, we will then have to vote on whether to acquire the property. We get the money, it comes before the board, you know, act or don't. Once we get the money, then it will go to vote. It might get shot down, it very well, that could happen, definitely. If it gets voted down, we don't acquire the park.
I'm looking up the annual report for Genesee County.
Yes, sir.
So before we go and buy something, don't you think we should have a budget for what's gonna cost us?
Again,
He's working on it.
right.
The guy.
No, you're talking about the park, right, so,
It's great to buy it, but we don't have any idea what it's gonna cost. It's
I
kinda like
agree.
paying for garbage, and now we don't know what we're doing with it. We're still paying for it.
I agree, yep. So,
So, should we stop paying?
I don't advise that.
I don't either, but it'd be kinda nice to get the services we're paying for.
I agree. That's why I was in the planning board, sitting at the director's desk.
We just paid our taxes, maybe we shouldn't send all the money to them. See what they say about that. I don't know.
I don't advise that, certainly.
I'm not saying me, I
Your
pay my
option.
taxes, but I'm saying that the town should maybe say, hey, if you
Yeah,
guys
I
want your
hi- I
money, maybe you ought to
highly
give us
don't
the
advise
services
that.
that are already being paid for.
Yeah,
We paid for them, it's paid.
yeah. I highly don't advise that we don't send our tax dollars to the
I think you should mention it to them.
I will do that. I will do that.
One more thing I wanna mention, what kind of liability does having dogs and people in our town park open up? the
Well,
town?
dogs are allowed in the town park now. Right?
I don't know, I don't take my dog to the park.
They are.
On land. Well,
They
I'm
are.
just saying, if you're gonna have more people bringing dogs, isn't that gonna open up some liability issues there?
Right, and certainly those issues will be addressed. It's not going to be a free-for-all.
Again, maybe we should plan on this stuff before we start.
We didn't start anything yet.
We're working on it,
Correct. We're planning now.
planning, there you go, well, let's plan for that too.
But
I am.
I think what he's saying is, insurance-wise, right, is there things that we should be looking at on top of just doing it? Would we cover our insurance to see if we have to increase the policy, the rider, or anything like that?
Again, so we're putting the cart before the horse here. Number one, any approval of that grant money is then contingent on a bunch of other things. They don't just send you a check for what you asked for in the mail, a month after you asked for it. It doesn't work that way.
Very
So
specific.
once they even consider you for approval, then we go to a next step, then we go through there. We've got unbelievable amount of time for legal consult and insurance concerns, liability, obviously all of that, are things that, of course, we need to look into for everything, but, any changes, to our existing structure that residents are using all the time, certainly, of course.
Speaking of legit things, do we have a town attorney yet or no?
So we have interviewed, we just completed an interview with a town attorney candidate. The other interview I am scheduling hopefully tomorrow morning. I don't know when it's going to be scheduled. I'll be conversing with him tomorrow morning, and we will make our decision from those candidates moving forward. We sit here right now, DiMatteo, Roach, and Kelly are still our, town attorney. That has not changed.
Still looking everywhere. Not ignoring.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the solar, Niagara Solar.
Yep.
So my understanding is the special use permit ran out at the end of 2025,
Yep.
right? So they're out of the use, right? So you're trying to get in touch with them, or they're trying to get in touch with you, and you've called in legal to help work this? You mentioned something like that?
So
What
we're
was
going to
projecting?
consult with our legal representation, right, to decide how to move forward. I had no communication from Niagara Solar whatsoever. I reached out to them and got a sort of casual response by email stating, yeah, we should talk, yeah, we need to meet, we should get together and say hello. No details, couple of mentions of delays they have experienced, so no update.
So it's a renewal of a special use permit, so that's a board decision, but they haven't asked for it yet?
No, and there's more complicating factors to that because of the time frame that's gone on now. Judging by when we need, but when I get to speak to her, we're gonna have to address other things, I would assume.
Okay, and then legal for this effort is DiMatteo?
No.
Spitzer.
Spitzer.
Yeah. And
You
we
didn't
have
know
an
that?
escrow. We have an escrow account. for them, for those fees. You don't wanna know the budget for Genesee County.
That's it, go ahead,
Hmm?
do it.
The adopted 2026 budget totals $205,460,000.
That's for Genesee County or their park?
They got them too.
There's no way their park costs $200 million even.
Genesee County, well, that's probably their budget.
Yeah, that's their total budget. Holy cow, what a park that would
Wait a
be.
minute, let me find
I wanna
the
go to
park.
that park, that is for sure.
Alright, oh,
Sir, I got one more question.
Yeah,
You mentioned the kennel law, so the kennel law is still open currently, and you're still receiving communications based on that?
correct,
Are you, in the newsletter, are you gonna set a date to close out the public hearing?
we will.
Okay, and then you'll be able to set the date to vote on it, right?
Set the date for what?
To vote on,
Correct,
we'll see that in shortly.
correct.
and you heard the dates of our,
You heard the dates of the workshop?
Yep,
598,000, sorry. That's what we're spending? That's their budget for 2026.
So I will have updates for you, obviously, you know, on these issues as well from the county as soon as, you know, they come across my desk, you guys will know those as well. Any other business, any other concerns?
Motion to adjourn.
We're out.
Do you wanna get, where they
I was gonna say that, but I didn't. I think that money comes from, oh yeah, tax money.
phone number and
Yeah.
Rick Johnson?